Hi, and welcome back to Razgains. So, I won't be doing a protein powder review this time because I'm going through a 2 kilogram bag of weight mass builder protein powder. It's quite hefty. It's got 600 grams, 600 calories in there with 30 grams of protein and I think over 50 grams of carbs. It's quite heavy, but I've been losing a bit of weight. I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, my face has slimmed down a little bit. Everyone keeps telling me I'm losing weight, so I'm really just trying to make sure I inflate myself just a little bit. Still looking sharp as a razor. I know last video I kept it sweet, kept it short, but this is going to be different because well, we're going to be reacting to Jeff Cavalier's 6% body fat video. And I know some people have already done it, like Greg Doucette, and there he's obviously going to be talking about it and to some extent about the implications. But as someone who's trained to be a nutritionist, um, so I'm going to be looking at the points of what he made, not to clear detail of Crystal, but just of what he's saying, and really trying to understand his scope on things. So, first of all, the title is, well, not misleading, but obviously it wants a reaction out of people. Percent body fat is ideal for men. Harsh truth. Now, if you don't understand that title, you're obviously gonna be a bit confused about that. But he's trying to say the harsh truth of why it doesn't work, um, and how he's saying. Well, in the beginning part, he talks about the athletes being at 6%, and he's trained them and this and that, and that's fair enough. There's probably a few athletes that can stick on there, and that's absolutely fine. I don't have a problem with it, but someone who's studying the body, relatively healthy body fats is between 10 to 15%. So when he's saying, oh, 15% is too much and athletes athletes have to be at a certain level, 6% could be okay, or 8%. He's not taking into consideration, the big thing here, which is drugs. A lot of them take drugs. I think he mentioned an MMA fighter in there, and that MMA fighter is definitely on drugs because in the MMA world, almost everyone is taking drugs. About maybe 90%, maybe even more than that. But they'll never say it for obvious reasons, and so it's much easier because the body recovers at a faster rate. So they can then be at that low body fat percentage because it's easier to recover. It's easier for the muscles to stay alive and learn more. But also, it's not going to be as detrimental as someone who was natural per se because their testosterone is a lot more higher, meaning they can feel a bit more confident in themselves, a bit more like, they've got a grasp their, you know, on their mental state of things. And I personally think, even as an athlete, there should never be a state where anyone should be at 6% body fat. I know there's that bodybuilder. I'll put a picture up of him. He's like known to be like the no fat bodybuilder, wherever. He's like 5%, just shredded to the gill, like no fat at all. Looks absolutely insane. All respect to him, but it's just we don't know what's going on behind the camera, the pictures, the fame, the fortune. Because when you're at that low, really low body fat percentage, it really starts to play on your mind. It can ruin your libido, mood swings, fall into depression. And these are quite similar things to someone that has anorexia, for example, male or women. With women in it, it's a lot more prevalent. Men, they can handle it just a little bit better because the threshold for body fat needed on a female body is much higher for obvious reasons, um, because they have um, a structure that needs more body fat. Um, and yeah, it's like even with athletes, I wouldn't suggest it. But if you're saying he's training them, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Um, and we no, we don't know what athletes are like. We don't know their mental games. Only their coaches, their teams, and their families would know. But even then, they're only getting the outside of it. Who truly knows what's on the inside? I mean, that's a bit of a deep question. Who really knows what's on the inside for anyone, really? But as an athlete, it's a bit more difficult because once you start talking about, "Oh, I feel down and this and that," it could just go down a slippery slope, and they might quit, and that's all they've got. Whereas someone like the average man, like me or you or average woman or whatever, I work in IT. I'm trained to be a nutritionist. There's other fields I can go into. Whereas with an athlete, it could be just, oh, if they stop playing football, if they stop doing that sport, yeah, sure, they might get a few contracts with modeling agencies or something. But in that period where they just want to stop, they might have no means of income. Hopefully, they've saved up a bit of money, but or they might rely on a family, but it might be a bit more difficult for them because that's all they've been training for. So to respond to that, um, low body fat it should never be ideal for the average man, and I agree with Jeff Cavalier that 6% is too low, especially if you're not a bodybuilder. Um, if you're just someone who likes bodybuilding but you never hit the stage, um, if you're between, let's say, 8 to 15, that's fine. I'd suggest even 10 to 15. Double digits is still a lot of people look amazing on 10%. I think I'm 20% body fat the last time I checked with this company called Blue Crescent, and they gave a full on detail about my body. And people are saying I look good because I've just built up a lot of muscle over the years, consistent with the diet, managing my stress, managing my sleep, and it works. Even at 20%, I feel like I'm more like maybe 14 or 15. That doesn't really matter, but fat is important. It's good for your hormones and should never be demonized. What if anything should be demonized? It's sugar. Sugar breaks down literally everything: your liver, your gums, your teeth, your brain, because it can cause addiction. And I know some people in the comments are going to be like, "Oh, sugar's good for your brain because your brain metabolizes it for energy." But that's only a small amount. So after you go past that threshold, so let's say you need this much for your brain in like for an hour's work or 2 hours work. Once you go past that, you're now in that mode of slumped. You've just given your car way too much petrol, and now it needs to work harder to burn it off. So there is the moderation in that. And then there's the second part of the video where Jeff Cavalier is saying that, well, just what we've talked about, um, that guys shouldn't try to be on this body fat thing because social media has taken a large influence on this. And he's absolutely correct because I remember 3, 4 years ago, I tried to get the six pack, the skinny look, and it was just so unhealthy. It was so bad for my mental state. It was bad for my body. When I was with my girlfriend at the time, like she noticed a few things as well. I think my mum and my friends were saying that I had like a gray skin tone on me, something I couldn't even imagine, something I couldn't see, something that I thought could never happen to me because I was still working out, um, but I was having one meal a day or two meals. And I was in a job where I was constantly burning calories because I was on my feet all the time. And it was bad. It was bad, and it just showed me what impact social media has on young minds and guys and girls of looking a certain way. Because we should, well, now it's opening up more, but we should be seeing the not just the result but the progress. So if I was to get the body that I want, I'd have a side by side because it's so dangerous to show people just, oh, I'm gonna do this workout and I look like this without showing the hard work. But I think this speaks on all levels of life where people just see the end result and they don't see the hard work that's been put in. So, it doesn't just go for fitness, it goes for, money, attractiveness, confidence, um, character, charisma, a personality, um, traits of being a good person, working to be a family orientated person, having ambition. So many of these things are things that you're supposed to build up, you're supposed to learn, you're supposed to experience, and it's really important that we tell people or send out the message that looking skinny or looking a particular way, it might work for someone who's gone through both ends of the spectrum, like myself even, but it might not work for you. You might look better at 20% body fat. You might look better at 10% body fat. You might look better working out 3 times a week. You might look better working out 5 times a week. You might look better having less carbs. Or you might look better having more carbs. And there is no correct way of looking a certain way. And that's what we need to drill in. So the second half of the video, I completely agree with Jeff Cavalier because he's saying that if you're not even working out, you should definitely not be trying to hit a single digit body fat. And if you are working out, just explore what looks good on you and just be confident in yourself. Why do you think before the internet era, people look like what they wanted, like baggy jeans, like a bit of a belly, but they still were confident. They still came up to you with a bit of jazz because they learned from their predecessors. They learned from their parents' friends, older people at school. Because where else would you learn it from? Before it was like you couldn't learn anything off a phone. It was just, you had your music, you had your games, you made your calls and texts. That was it really. But all the confidence wasn't there. And I feel like now that social media is on our phones in front of our faces, in some parts it shows the confidence, but in a lot of ways it's taken it away because people are trying to look that certain way without trying to look at themselves and being like, oh, could I make this bicep bigger? Could I get a new haircut? Oh, should I maybe put some cream on? Should I do my beard up? Should I should I put some oils to make this hair grow a little more? Should I get a massage to feel like I'm cool, calm, and collected? Should I maybe ask a bro like how would I talk to a girl? How maybe should I ask a girl how would I talk to a girl and seem more confident? That sort of approach would really help a lot of people out. And looking at your phone and looking at all these people with their big booty or the six pack and the eight pack, it's not gonna help. I get it. If you've been supporting them for a long time, that's cool. That's very cool. You're helping them grow and making these individuals realize they've got an important journey ahead of them and they've got a following and they can they can become the best, but at some point you got to look at yourself and be like, how do I, if I'm gonna support this guy, how can I use that energy for myself as well? How can I better myself? If I'm looking at someone else bettering themselves, I want to better myself as well. So with Jeff Cavalier's video, it's I agree. The 80% of it, I agree. Like men, women should not be going down that route unless they know exactly what they're doing and what they're willing to sacrifice. I went down there and I didn't like what I sacrificed, so I came back up. And apparently I'm at 20% body fat and I'm looking way better. But if you know what you're gonna sacrifice, you've been going to the gym for a good 2, 3 years, and I'm not talking about the years where you don't know what you're doing, you're just flinging weights around, like good sleep, good diet, you've done your research, mind muscle connection, you're actually progressively loading, um, and you actually look decent. Then I'd say maybe consider it, and even then I wouldn't consider it. But then it's up to you. Even then I'd be like, okay, yeah, cool. You do your thing and good luck. But for those who haven't mastered that yet, or haven't even come close to being a novice at those things that I just listed, you should not be trying to go skinny at all. Your body needs calories, your body needs fat to build itself. You need to be in a good mental state. You need that pump, you need that mental energy to do those lifts. And you shouldn't be doing it with a starved mind. So yeah, I agree with that. But with the athletes, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. In America, maybe it's different. I don't know. But from the UK, footballers, they always look like they've carrying around like at least 9 to 10% of body fat. At least they run all day, but like they're still eating enough to making sure they're burning it off because they need energy to burn off for 90 minutes, 45 minutes each part of the match. And then what else you got? You got rugby. Oh, so we're talking at least like 15% body fat. Hockey, it's not really big here. Tennis players, yeah, they've got like maybe 10, 11% body fat, but you still need carbs and fat to like burn off for a long time. So when he says 6% on athletes, yeah, it's definitely doable, but bodybuilders at most, can't really think of NFL players having 6% body fat. No way. No freaking way. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up on that. If you found this video useful or insightful, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment. I try my best to talk from an evidence-based background because that's where I get my training from and my information from. And at the end of the year, I will be a fully qualified nutritionist. Fingers crossed. And I'm still on my journey of bodybuilding, trying to look a certain way, and trying to hit my goals of looking like Superman one day. But in that note, I would like to thank you all for watching. I will be doing protein powder reviews coming up, and I will be doing protein product reviews as well if you guys are interested. And the message I wanted to put out from last year was so I've set up a TikTok page, and my brand, Nathalie, from what you saw last video, it needs um, it needs people to sponsor because my business is all about sponsoring natural athletes and people who do bodybuilding or any sort of exercise or keeping themselves fit naturally because I do not want people to go to the side of using steroids or drugs thinking they need to do this and they're not even bodybuilders or they're not even MMA fighters. They're just regular people. You can always achieve your best You just need to follow the guidelines and be strict with it. That's all it is. And you can achieve a body even at 50% to your journey, or even 75%. It just takes hard work and dedication and managing your stress as well. I'm not going to pretend like our lives are easy, but it's not as hard as compared to a lot of other people in the world. So if you have this chance, if you're watching this video right now, and you're not in a war-torn country, or you're not someone who's bedridden in a hospital 24 hours a day because you've got an illness, or if you're just a typical person, you just go home and you're watching Netflix after you get back, or you're playing games or whatever. It's time to switch it up a little. It's time to switch it up. And if you're watching this video, maybe take this as an advantage to remind you that it's time to actually get up and do something, or take your fitness to the next level, or have the fitness at the next level. Who knows? But on that bombshell, I'd like to leave you guys, and see you around in the next video. Peace.